Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, taking time out of your day. We have a really great presentation for you. We're going to hear from NYSERDA about the Low Carbon Pathway Program and, of course, the important Local Law 97 recent updates that were announced last week. For anyone curious, this presentation is going to be recorded, and a copy of the presentation and slide deck will be made available to everyone that registered for the event. Please, if you don't mind, mute your microphones during the presentation, and we'll have time for a question and answer session towards the end. And let's begin. So for the agenda today, we're going to do some brief introductions, and we'll get right into the NYSERDA Multifamily Low Carbon Pathway Program. We'll review the Local Law 97 updates, talk about steam system retrofits, review a couple of case studies, and then open it up for a Q&A session. So briefly, let's go over, first of all, about myself. My name is Ari. I'm the Vice President at Building Efficiency Services. Our company specializes in high-rise multifamily and commercial buildings. We do steam system upgrades and retrofits. We have electrification solutions and all local law compliance. We also help buildings capture available energy incentives. And we've saved New York City over 3 million therms. With us today on the call is Pamela Miller. She is the program lead for the low carbon pathways, the multifamily low carbon pathways. Of course, NYSERDA needs no introduction. They're committed to sustainability, offer a number of incentive programs, and look to reduce costs, carbon emissions, and also improve tenant comfort. So we're going to go now into the Multifamily Carbon Pathways program, and I'm going to invite Pamela up to share her screen and walk us through it. Please go ahead, Pamela.
Thanks, Ari. Appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. Just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Okay, I'm seeing Ari nod, so I'm guessing you can. So that's wonderful.
No.
Thank you. So today I wanted to just join this call. Thanks, Ari, for putting this together and share a little bit about not only just the low carbon pathways, but we have a couple of different initiatives that can help you and your customers to meet Local Law 97 and to build more efficient buildings. So we're going to really kind of fly through a couple of different programs here that we have to offer. At the end of the slide deck, I do have some QR codes that I'll leave up on the screen. I encourage you all to go ahead and take a screenshot of those. They'll link you out directly to our program menu, which will have a summary of all of the programs that we offer, and also to our email address if you want to ask any additional questions. So first, before I dive in here, wanted to just kind of set the stage and talk about what a multifamily is and what program eligibility means in terms of the NYSERDA suite of offerings. So when we're talking about multifamily, currently what we're referring to is a building that contains 5 or more dwelling units and is at least 50% of the square footage is occupied by dwelling spaces and dwelling associated spaces. So we are okay with having mixed use buildings, but those spaces associated with commercial, retail, whatever it might be, need to be less than 50% of the total occupied square footage. Also, many of our programs are funded by the Clean Energy Fund, so we do need those buildings to pay into your system's benefit charge on your local utility bills. We do have some funds available that come from different funding sources that we may be able to apply to buildings that do not pay into the system benefit charge. Those are on a very limited basis. And so if you're in an area that you may have a local municipal utility for your electric, then I would encourage you to reach out to whatever program it is that you might be interested in, just to inquire if there are still funds available to help support your project through that program. And then lastly, we talk a lot about affordable or low to moderate income housing. And just to explain kind of what that is, overarching guidance on that is, we're talking about multifamily buildings where 25% or more of the residents are under 80% of the area median income. So just some quick high level eligibility highlights. So we're going to move down into, I want to first really quickly go through our technical assistance programs because there are several on here that I think a lot of multifamily buildings in New York City could benefit from taking advantage of. The first is our flexible technical assistance program, which is also coined FlexTech. It's a longstanding program that we've had here at NYSERDA, and it falls under, like I said, that technical assistance portfolio, and it provides cost sharing for technical assistance services. The backbone of this program really are level 2 and level 3 energy audits, and it's often the first step for many buildings to participate in this particular technical assistance program while you're on your clean energy journey. The program offers incentives to assist with targeted and comprehensive energy or retrofit commissioning studies, climate action planning, sustainability planning, heating and cooling studies, energy master planning, and energy advisor services. And all of these studies will give insight into the potential energy savings, carbon reduction, and or process improvements within that building. The SAMES program, which is the acronym that we use for the Small Affordable Multifamily Energy Study, is essentially the flexible technical assistance program, so our FlexTech program, but it's available for smaller and medium-sized, low to moderate multifamily buildings. So we're talking about buildings that are under 50,000 square feet. This streamlined approach, the customer works directly with an already awarded FlexTech consultant, but you end up receiving 100% cost share. So if you have a smaller building, you're located in New York City, you fall under the definition of affordable or LMI, you need a building audit done, I would encourage you to take a peek at our SAMES program. Moving on to the next that I want to talk about really quickly is a newer program that was launched late last year called the On-Site Energy Manager. This is another program that falls under the technical assistance portfolio. This program launched, like I said, late last year, and it offers a cost share for customers to hire a direct full-time or part-time on-site energy manager. So the idea is that these energy managers will create an efficiency process for your buildings to decrease cost, reduce maintenance time, and reduce carbon and energy use across your building or your portfolio of buildings. The hired on-site energy managers may be selected from a list that's provided, the current FlexTech consultant list, or from our MREP contractors. They could also be an independent service provider. So if you have someone that you're working with already, you may be able to get some assistance with that if you kind of meet those eligibility requirements. This program really is better for larger buildings or portfolios that may need someone who is dedicated to managing your energy efficiency components of your building. So just keep that in mind while you're reviewing all of the available offerings. This is just a quick look at what the incentive structure looks like or the assistance looks like for this particular program. So the On-Site Energy Manager program offers 100% cost share for affordable multifamily buildings and a 75% cost share for market rate multifamily buildings. They do cap out at certain salaries, and so you can find those salaries in the table on the right, and it's just based on what your energy spend is for your portfolio or your building per year. There is a minimum requirement that the hired on-site energy manager has to dedicate a minimum of 20 hours per week for a minimum of 1 month or 12 months, 12 months or 1 year. And will not be supported for more than 48 months on the project. This program is only available to buildings that do not already have a dedicated on-site energy manager. So we're looking to support a new permanent hire, contracted staff, or a hybrid of either of the two. I think we're rounding out our technical assistance portfolio. This is a brand new program that was just launched a couple of months ago. This is our Owners Representative Services, our Owners Rep program. This is intended for small or underserved buildings that need support and guidance for their clean energy journey. The program provides a qualified contractor who supports participants through planning and implementation of decarbonization plans, and a trusted independent resource to support their interest in their goals. One benefit that you get from participating in this program is that these services that are provided can be paired with the New York City Accelerator programs that are offered on the streets now, allowing you to focus these services to the areas where your building specifically needs additional assistance from the scopes of services listed on the slide that's up on the screen now. So I'll just advance that, and we'll talk just a little bit about just kind of what our funding availabilities are and the qualifications and what the deliverables are. This program offers a per cap project, wow, that's a hard thing to say, a per project cap of $35,000 per building for a single project, and it is cost shared at 100% up to the first $20,000. The remaining $15,000 would be cost shared at 75% for low to moderate income and 50% for market rate buildings. The deliverables at the end of participation here is that you will end up with a fully vetted scope of work and an energy efficiency pathway plan, and that'll help you move forward into your clean energy initiatives that you have for your buildings. Now we are going to jump into the implementation program. So the low carbon pathway program. This is a program that's been on the street for several years. We have these programs here in our implementation sector are offered, they offer grant incentives to buildings to install various energy efficiency and carbon reduction upgrades. The low carbon pathway program is on the market now and is open to both affordable and market rate buildings on a first come, first served basis. The applications for this program need to be submitted before October 31st of this year. So this program is closing in the end of October this year. We have about $7 million still available toward the projects. So we encourage you to get those applications in if this seems like something that might help you out with meeting your local law 97 goals or just your overall initiatives for your buildings. Again, the program funding is limited. So if this sounds like a good fit for your building, I would encourage you just to reach out to us and get an application in sooner rather than later. The way that this program is structured is it's a modular approach to electrification and electrification readiness. So you can select up to 4 packaged measures targeting major building systems. So we have an envelope package that would cover roof, walls, and or windows. We have an appliance package that covers induction stoves and heat pump clothing dryers. We have a heating and cooling and a domestic hot water package that has incentives for both partial electrification and full electrification. So you can pair any one component of any of these measure packages to kind of fit the needs of what your building is looking to pursue. They can be completed on a individual basis. So like if you're looking right now and you're saying, yep, I need to do some roof insulation, you want to get in right now, do roof insulation, that's great. We can get you to roof insulation. Once you're in the program, you decide, oh, you know what? I think now we're ready for heat pumps. So we can always add that heat pump initiative or incentive onto your package for you. The incentives are based on a per dwelling unit basis, depending on the prescribed measure. and it is capped at 50% of the total package cost for market rate buildings and 75% for low to moderate income. That's the cost share portion of that. Just a quick note that the cost share portion for market rate is scheduled to increase to 65% on July 1st. So if you have market rate buildings that are needing to comply with Local Law 97, this program seems like a good fit. I would encourage you to get your applications in sooner rather than later. We do have an incentive cap as well. And so for market rate buildings, our incentive cap is $750,000. And for low to moderate income or affordable buildings, our incentive cap is $1 million. Can I advance on? So we also do have another program that's in the market now for the taking, and that is our CEI and our READY programs. These are programs that we've partnered with New York Homes and Community Renewal and the New York City Housing and Preservation and Development agencies. And this model integrates energy efficiency and electrification scopes of work into their financing process. So the funding that is available for technical assistance and design compliance under HCR Clean Energy Initiative for properties applying for and receiving the 9% low-income housing tax credit and the HFA 4% low-income housing tax credit, exempt bond financing, or the HCR subsidy financing. We also have this available for technical assistance for affordable housing developers and housing agency staffs under the HPD READY, which is the Resilient Equitable Decarbonization Initiative, if I remember correctly. That includes predefined scopes of work and provides funding for partial and full electrification in common multifamily building types. And then lastly, I just want to go over the way that you can participate in these programs. So we have a network of contractors that are available and ready to assist you with bringing your projects through any and all of these programs. Our newest contractor network is the Multifamily Residential Energy Pathways program, and we're big on acronyms here, so we're calling that the MREP network. There's a link again in the program manual that I'll bring up at the end. So if you're in need of services to participate in any of these programs or want to just talk to someone about whether your building is eligible, I would encourage you to reach out to entities that are approved to participate in the Multifamily Residential Energy Pathways Network, and they will be able to assist you with any questions that you have. So lastly, I'm just going to bring up those QR codes that I talked about at the beginning. First QR code is going to link you to the program webpage, which will allow you to search programs and filter by building type, target audience, and available services through technology support. The middle QR code will link you directly to our program menu. I personally really like this one because it's a brochure that has all of our available funding sources and program options. And then that will give you the direct contacts and email addresses to inquire if you have questions to follow up on. And the third link is available if you'd be interested in learning more about NYSERDA initiatives, upcoming changes, and whatnot. We'll add you onto our email distribution list, and you'll be the first to know about new and exciting things here at NYSERDA. So with that, I will conclude my presentation and want to thank you all for coming on, and I'm happy to answer questions at the end of the session during the Q&A.
Okay, thank you so much, Pamela. Just to for everyone that anyone that we do BES a lot of work with NYSERDA, especially in and around the AMI program. And I can say that Pamela and her team are super responsive. The team at NYSERDA will have some contact information up at the end, but anyone considering doing an energy efficiency program in their building certainly should reach out and take advantage of these different programs. So I want to now transition and talk a little bit more about local law filing. There was a very important update that was released last week, and this was, in a lot of cases, a big relief for buildings. Initially, the grace period and extension deadline was June 30th, at the end of this month, which is really just in a couple of days from now. That extension now, the extension deadline was moved until the end of August, August 29th. And if you are refiling an extension, you can get pretty much an automatic extension until the end of the year. And that would include your local law 97 and your local law 88 filings. Important to mention is that your local law 84 report, you can get you can have up to, normally that would be due May 1st. You can now have up to August 29th to file that, but you need to make sure that you have requested a deadline before you file that report. If you haven't done your local law 84 yet, and there's a lot of filing that's happening right now between 84, 88, and 97, just make sure you go into Beam, the platform. We'll talk about that briefly, and make sure you request that extension for your building so that your filing is not going to be considered late. So the filing process, if you're not familiar with it yet, you need to first go up on DOB Now if you don't have a New York City ID, and you'll have place for 3 email addresses. That would be for the building owner, an owner's rep, and a service provider. And once you pay your filing fee, it depends if you're going to be filing under Article 321 or Article 320. 321 really just needs to go straight through Beam. You don't need to connect your Energy Star Portfolio Manager. If you're doing an Article 320, which is, co-ops, condos, market rate buildings, you will need to connect your portfolio manager together with Beam so that the information will carry over, and do your submissions, your filings through the Beam platform, which opened up in March. Very important to keep in mind, we'll talk about this in a minute again, is that the information between these systems is synced overnight. So you can't do your filing all in one day. You have to just make sure you're allowing a couple of days for the information to connect and then carry over and migrate to the platforms until everything is up in Beam and you can submit your filing. A couple of tips. We said the building must first sign up at DOB Now and create a New York City ID. The Beam account must be created using one of the 3 email addresses identified in your DOB Now account. So again, that's either owner rep, or if you have a service provider you're working with to do your filing. But the Beam account is, you can create a Beam account with a different address, but then it won't connect and your information won't carry over. So make sure to use one of those 3 email addresses. We already talked about the portfolio manager is required for Article 320 to connect the data so that it can carry over to Beam. CBL dispute. So we had a couple of buildings, anecdotally, that in the 2024 CBL, the covered buildings list, they were showing up as Article 321 correctly. And then when the new covered buildings list was published in 2025, they were showing up as 320. So the process before Beam had opened was we were sending emails to the Department of Buildings to take a look at these particular cases and make sure that they were filed correctly. And we also had some buildings that were showing up on the covered building list that had a gross floor analysis done, and they were under the 25,000 square feet. All disputes now are to be filed in Beam. And if you aren't sure, or if you don't think there's going to be enough time to resolve your dispute before the filing deadline, you should file your building, your local law 97, as you expect your building to be classified 320 or 321, and it will be resolved when the DOB gets to it. But definitely do the filing before the deadline as you expect it to be, and open up your dispute through Beam. We already mentioned that the data is overnight, so leave a couple of days in between to make sure that you have enough time to get your filing in. And there is no separate filing fee for local law 88 if you are filing it together with your local law 97 this year. One filing fee for local law 97 will cover them both. This is just a snapshot of the Beam platform, login screen. Here you will log in to be able to sign up, create an account, or log in if you already had created one. And there's also the knowledge base, and you can see over here where this is where you would open up your disputes in case your building is not covered correct or identified correctly, I should say, in the covered buildings list, or you have some questions about your gross floor area. This is where you would open up your dispute for the DOB now, and then continue to file as you would expect it to be to make sure that you don't incur any late fees or penalties. Penalties differ between Article 320 and 321. The Article 320 is based on your emissions limits. Primarily the fee, of course, if you're subject to penalty if for all the time that you haven't filed. With Article 321 specifically, there's a $10,000 fee for failing to submit and $10,000 for failing to comply. Of course, that's the prescriptive measure pathway, the 13 measures, and the DOB has reserved the right to assess this annually. So it's not necessarily going to be a one-time penalty if you are not filing and complying. There are some penalty mitigation opportunities, and these really revolve around good faith efforts. So if your particular building, if you're looking, and you're facing penalties, or you're expecting to, you're in the middle of a project and you don't think you'll have it done in time. We have some buildings, let's say, that are, in the process of waiting for approval on their energy incentives and are concerned that they're not going to meet the deadlines to get the authorization to go forward, to complete the measures and file everything in time. Now, because of the extension, by the way, till the end of the year, that is a big relief for buildings that are waiting in this. But if you have a similar situation, there are penalty mitigation opportunities. Please reach out. We'll have contact information up at the end, and we can walk you through what we can do to help your building meet compliance and avoid penalties. I want to now move into some steam system balancing. That's one of the primary functions at BES, one of the most important ways we help buildings. And of course, most of New York City buildings, an overwhelming number, are still heated by steam heating. These are steam systems. This technology, of course, has been around for about 150 years. And the number one expense or carbon emission expense that New York City has is through the heating their buildings and spaces, and it also presents the greatest opportunity for reducing your operating expenses and your carbon emissions. So common problems with an imbalanced system are varying hot and cold apartments. We hear that a lot during heating season. Tenants opening windows because the apartment's overheating. That's really wasted energy. Clanging, hissing pipes, tenant complaints, high energy costs, and a lot of the fixes or solutions for these issues are also included in the prescriptive pathway for an Article 321 building, including master venting. Orifice plates, we'll talk about a bit more. That's not actually one of the 13 measures, but a very popular now replacement for repetitive steam trap repair. Multi-sensor boiler controls. That's where you're going to have sensors in up to like 25% of the units, and then that information feeds back to the boiler to have a much more efficient boiler cycle. Pipe insulation, boiler clean and tune, and general steam system infrastructure upgrade. So we take a comprehensive and holistic approach to diagnosing the steam system to really help it run as efficiently as possible on low pressure steam. So some of the common area and in-unit solutions we touched on briefly. Steam traps, they're an important part of a steam system to help it run efficiently, let the condensate sit out. This is, of course, in a two-pipe steam system building. So typically buildings that are over 7 stories or so, they'll have this on their radiators. These need to be swapped out every 3 to 5 years because they fail. And that means not only the expense of the steam traps themselves, but also coordinating with tenants, getting access to all the units. TRVs are individual temperature controls. They're especially effective in also larger buildings, pipe insulation, really throughout the building for your steam and your domestic hot water. Orifice plates. So this is a measure that we have been doing a lot over the last few years. We're doing it in all the a lot of the NYSERDA, New York City Housing Authority development projects throughout the city. And what this does is it regulates the steam that's filling a radiator so it doesn't overheat. And because of that, you're not engaging the steam trap, and it eliminates the need to replace steam traps every 3 to 5 years, which is a huge expense that buildings normally, a maintenance expense that buildings incur. So it eliminates the need for it and provides the proper comfortable heat to each individual radiator. Master venting, or vents that run through the common area steam system, allowing the steam to reach radiators efficiently. Wrong direction. We offer BES a turnkey solution for local laws. So we'll start off with a site survey. We'll present a proposal and report. What you see on the left side of your screen is a list of the 13 measures, and we will show the building where they are in compliance already, where some work is required. We'll propose that, clear guidance on required measures. We'll also help buildings apply for and capture energy incentives or rebates. So we work together with NYSERDA, with National Grid, Con Edison, and we also then help with all the regulatory filings. So 84, 97, 88. We're also doing plumbing now. We can help with all the local law filings. So a little bit about our plumbing division. We launched our plumbing division at the end of 2023, and we offer both new construction and plumbing repairs and maintenance contracts, everything from steam to hot water to sprinklers, gas lines. If you need on service, plumbing service or maintenance contracts or anything that comes up regarding plumbing, we can have a truck over to you in short order. And specifically regarding plumbing is Local Law 152. It requires now buildings with gas connections to have their gas lines inspected every 4 years. We are a licensed plumber, BES, and we can help correct any violations and, of course, help with your filing. Want to go now review a couple of case studies, and then we'll begin to open it up for any questions that are in the chat. Please feel free to go and if you have any questions for Pamela or myself. So here's a Queens oil fuel building, a pre-war building. So with oil fuel buildings, there are not as many incentives or rebates available. Most of them are available through Con Edison and Nat Grid, and those are gas connections. There are some available for electric, so we can still help you capture some of those. But in this particular building, we help them save about 15% in their energy costs and carbon emissions. This is a project we recently just finished up, Nightshell Patterson, and I believe it's 18 buildings, no, 15 buildings. And we over there did steam traps and orifice plates. Sometimes over time, a steam trap will fail closed, and therefore you will need to gut the steam trap. But once you have orifice plates installed, you should eliminate the need for future steam trap repair. And over Nightshell Patterson, they had an 18%, energy reduction in their throughout the 15 buildings in their project. BES does paperless reporting. So our field crews out in the field, everything is done digitally. They're reporting the work that they're doing. What you're seeing is some screen captures up now of the real-time reporting that we provide to building management. This is super useful when you are managing a portfolio, but even for a particular building, if you want to be able to check in any day, what percentage of the project has been completed, which units have been accessed, which units we're having some difficulty. scheduling an appointment with the tenants. We do have a very good track record, usually about between 95 and 99% of getting access to every unit, working with management and tenants to be able to do all the in-unit work. Management has, real-time access to any of the progress. So I want to now open it up. We'll take a look at the chat, and you can raise your hand if you have any questions you want to ask. I'm going to put up contact information up on the screen. You can screen capture it and reach out, please. Pamela is very responsive. She'll point you to any members on our team to help answer any relevant questions. Feel free to reach out to me as well. Let me take a look at the chat. Kind of doing this solo today.
Yeah, I don't see any comments in the chat, Ari.
I don't see anything in the chat. Okay. I did have a question that was actually sent to me. I'm looking here, Pamela, regarding the, let's say, multifamily incentive programs. What is generally the lead time, like from application, from submission, until you can, get the go ahead to do the work, and the incentive will be kind of locked in?
Yeah, so, I think it varies depending on which program you're participating in. I actually manage the low carbon pathway program, so I think that's, the one that I can speak to the easiest. So once we receive an application, we do review that and get back to the MREP contractor to let them know if the application can move forward. Assuming everything is submitted and received okay and we're good to go, we like to schedule a scoping session call with the building owner and the MREP contractor within the next 2 weeks. Once we receive and have that call, we will issue an award letter, which essentially reserves the funding available for your building. And then we ask you to go through, completing a work scope tool for whatever component it is that you're proposing. You get that into us. Depends on how long it takes you to fill that out. Get it into us. We usually generate a response to that work scope tool, approving the work scope or asking for more information within 3 weeks. After that initial milestone 1, we release our first incentive payment.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then, depending on what your scope of work is and how long that takes, the remainder of the incentive is either issued in a second and a third milestone, or potentially just at the end of construction. And it all kind of depends on what measures you're doing, what your scope of work looks like. But we've on average been seeing about, for like a comprehensive project going through the program, it's been about a year from beginning to end.
Okay, but that's until the final incentive is paid out,
Yep.
correct?
Right. Yep.
Until,
That's right.
and then from the beginning of the project till you get like the commitment letter or that you mentioned before, on
Yep.
average, what would you say? It's about 6 weeks.
What were we averaging? Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty good estimate, Ari.
Okay. Okay. We do have a question in the chat actually for you, Pam. I'll read it out to you. NYSERDA has a PON for development of a heat pump that fits in AC sleeves. There was going to be a PON for buildings to apply for testing. Has that gone out? I can't find it. That's from Phil.
Yeah, I don't believe that has gone out for participation yet.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and Phil, feel free to send an email and reach out afterwards, and Pam can help direct you
Yep.
if you have further inquiry on that. If anyone else has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. We'll wait maybe about another minute now. If you want to raise your hand, if you have any questions, feel free. You can unmic and feel free to come up.
I thought I'd get thinking.
Hey,
Yeah.
Ari, it looks like there's one additional question in the chat about
Thank you.
orifice plates.
Okay, hold
Where's the
on.
chat?
Let me bring that up.
Where's the chat?
Going back and forth.
Where's the chat? Where's the chat? Where's the chat?
I can read it out loud to you. It says, do you need to fix all traps with orifice plates? What if they are failed open?
Oh, this is from Al. Hi, Al. How are you? So the problem really is with the traps. With when you're doing an orifice plate job, you don't need to normally fix all traps because orifice plates will really eliminate the need to have to repair steam traps. Generally, when a steam trap will fail, it will fail open, and therefore it will let the condensate pass through the radiator and go in down into the return line, and that won't be an issue. Occasionally, there'll be a blockage in the steam system, and let's say during heating season, we'll be able to catch this really quickly. When there's an imbalance after doing an orifice plate job, it means that somewhere in the system a steam trap has failed and closed. Therefore, you're not getting steam properly into the radiator, and we'll go and gut the trap. But the answer to the question is no, you don't need to replace or fix all traps when you're doing an orifice plate job. That really is the purpose of the orifice plate job, to eliminate the need for the steam trap. Thank you. It's a good question, Al. Thank you. Okay, so it looks like we don't have further questions right now. And let's begin to wind it down. If last call, if anyone has any questions to ask, you can also
Yeah,
screen.
yeah, I've got one. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble navigating this Zoom. Question for
Sure.
Ms. Miller. Ms. Miller, I had heard through a Con Ed contact that I found through the accelerator's office. We had been discussing a pilot program that Con Ed was administering, and then I was told that NYSERDA had taken over that pilot program. I'm just wondering where I could find out who I could talk to about it. We were very interested. We're a very small building, and it was a pilot program involving the package window heat pumps that MIDEA puts out. I was wondering if you knew anything about that or who I would talk to.
Yeah, I think this was and maybe just to clarify, but I think that was the question or the pond, Phil, that you were just talking about as well.
Oh, was it? I don't know what
I'm not sure
maybe.
because it says they were looking for heat pumps that fit AC sleeves, and so I'm
Yeah,
guessing that's kind of the same thing, the package window heat pumps.
Well, it's kind of, but the package window heat pump dates from 2021. That was the clean heat for all, the stuff that go into NYCHA buildings. And this other one, the other one, which I'm also interested in, was the challenge for developing heat pump models similar to the package window heat pumps, but these would be designed to fit into through the wall air conditioner openings.
Oh,
that's a newer one. I had heard about that too,
one.
but I'm interested in both. But who would I contact about that first one? The Con Ed program that NYSERDA took over.
Yep. So if you want to reach out to me, I will forward your message on and to James Manarino, who I think is probably the correct person to talk to.
Okay.
But rather than trying to spell out his email address, go ahead and shoot me an email, and I'll forward your inquiry on, and you'll have his email address from there.
Excellent.
Okay,
Thanks so much.
Great, Phil. If you want to do the same thing, Phil, I'll do that for you as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Pam. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to either Pamela or myself. Copy of the recording and the slide deck will be sent out shortly to everyone that registered and participated in it. We really appreciate you taking out your time today. Please look out for invitations to our next webinar, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.